Well, listen, again, thank you so much for making time. You're a busy man. And full transparency, I am not at my best. I have a bit of a summer flu, no Roanoke to my knowledge. But I could not miss this event. I wanted to talk to you today. And a lot of people I know looking to hear you talking about all things USAA, your background, and really the evolution of digital marketing. And excited to talk to you throughout the course of the day.
Well, good.
Cool. All right, we'll kick it off. So I have the song in my head because it's an amazing jingle. And the USAA actually has a powerful mission of empowering military community through your financial products and services. As a former Marine yourself, how have you championed this mission with your internal teams?
Well, first of all, it's really unique to come to USA to work. I've been a member for 35 years and had almost every product and service that we offer. And so in many respects, it was like coming home. I first came to experience the brand as a young midshipman at the Naval Academy when I insured my very first vehicle with USA. So really, I think strong roots in many aspects and shared values with the military community, whether that's honesty, integrity, loyalty, service. But I also believe our team's just really good at embracing the mission, being very mission oriented. Also, I think for me, there's this philosophy of kind of know yourself, know your job, know your people. Something I learned in the Marine Corps. And I think when you do that well, you can really maximize the opportunity. I think also as a Marine, there's kind of this idea of a bias toward action, like when in doubt, move out. And then the last thing is this thing I call, the OODA loop, which is kind of a military thing of this idea of observe, orient yourself, decide, and act. And that the quicker that you can do that, the better off you are. And that idea of kind of progress over perfection, not having to get it bright green, but hey, it's green, especially in the marketing space now, to get it there and then move out and then iterate quickly. So all of those things are things that we're trying to live in at USAA. And it's really exciting time to be here. And I think a lot of brands found out that idea of moving quickly, bias toward action during the pandemic, that you just didn't have perfect information. You didn't know what was going to happen next. So you had to go with the known data at the time.
I love your perspective. And I have to imagine, I would hope that are other people on your team also have a military background. Is that a common theme? People that are in USAA also have served themselves? Is that part of kind of the
Yeah, we're actively looking for great talent. Approximately 20% of USA employees have either served or they are a spouse of a military member. So we call that kind of that military affiliation. And we're out looking for great talent. The whole space of veteran hiring is super important, and we have a huge focus there. And obviously, when you've served in the military, you can have an appreciation for the types of products and services and the insights that you need to serve those type of customers.
I love it. Well, it's very apropos. May is Military Appreciation Month. Can you tell us some of the ways that USAA is recognizing the military community and showing your appreciation?
Yeah, there's so much that happens in May. We have, Memorial Day, which is probably the most sacred holiday for those that are in the military. And I'll talk maybe briefly about what we're doing around that. Then you have Military Spouse Appreciation, and then Military Appreciation Day on the 15th. And so a really important month for us in terms of building affinity with the military community. But in particular, I would say the most important day is Memorial Day, which, there's a lot of confusion out in the public around the difference between Memorial Day and Veterans Day. And it's turned into a little bit of a retail holiday, where people are having sales and big events. But for us, at least at USA, one of the things that we try to communicate as a brand is just how important that day is to remember. It is a day to recognize the sacrifice that in over the course of our history, 645,000 Americans have kind of given their life in service in armed conflict to their country. And it's a important moment, I think, just to stop and pause and pay recognition to what they've done. And so for us, we've had for the last couple of years a special campaign around the poppy, which has significance across the pond there in terms of a token or a symbol of recognizing folks that have given their life. And so we normally have gone down to the mall and put one poppy for every 645,000 Americans that have given their life. Obviously, in the pandemic, we haven't been able to do that. So this year, we're doing that in terms of a virtual exercise. So really important moment for us. It's a brand moment. We're not looking to, move products or sell services. It's just paying that tribute to the military community who recognize how special it is.
That's extremely important, and I'm sure there's a stat somewhere that should be created where I feel like everyone, either their grandparents, their parents, their cousins, their uncles, someone has been part of the military at some point or some level, in their lives. So yeah, you guys are obviously providing a tremendous service to those that have served so well for the country. So thank you.
Yeah, it's actually a pretty interesting stat. Only 1% of the American population has worn the uniform in service to their country. So it's a really, really small, and that impacts us as a brand, because in order to be a USA member, if you either had to have served or be a descendant of someone that had established membership. So sure. It for us creates a very small addressable market, and we have to be super targeted and focused in terms of who we engage because of the eligibility requirements that we have.
Makes sense. But those that do qualify, I've heard it's not only tremendous service, but they have a great rate. So obviously you guys are doing well by the community. So keep going. Let's give it up. Well, I wanted to talk. So obviously, the most important honors, obviously the Memorial Day and things around May. But there are business honors. You were honored by, the company was honored by Forbes as one of the best companies for remote work in 2021. Based off what I can tell and see on your LinkedIn and some of your background, I read you actually became CBO in the middle of the pandemic. That had to be a unique moment for you. How did you approach the abruptness of the work from home new world we live in? Was that something that you guys already had built in for work from home type capacity, or is it all brand new?
Yeah, great question, Ryan. I think in many respects, USAA was fairly well prepared for the pandemic. And I know that may sound a little weird. Look, we're a insurance company and banking, but insurance is kind of the core and how we got started. So we have a lot of infrastructure around responding to things that happen out in the general environment, whether that's weather or fire or things that we always say, things that go bump in the night. So we have a unified command center. We have all this connectivity and monitoring. And so our team had actually identified the pandemic, I think in the early December timeframe, and we're keeping an eye on it. So we were able to get 35,000 employees home in a matter of, I think, 9 days. Everybody was working remote. And then we had a lot of the infrastructure, but we really worked around, I think, kind of 3 phases of work. Respond, which was in that first 60 to 90 days, and then recover, and then retool. At the time, I was actually serving as the bank head of marketing, and I got pulled out of marketing to actually run that middle work stream called recover. And as a marketer, it was really interesting to do an enterprise focused role like that. So our initial management team that handles, those catastrophes and key events, they have been going hard for a long, that first, like I said, 60, 90 days.
Sure.
We set up another work stream, which is like, hey, what do we need to do from the 3 to 6 month phase to make sure we come out the other side? So we did everything from standing up dashboards to ensuring business continuity, ensuring that we had sufficient funding to run the business, and started to focus on a smaller set of KPIs. And then we had another work stream that did retool, which was like, how's the world going to be different for financial services and for USAA and for our members after we come out of the pandemic? And now a lot of folks know some of those things, like digital transformation, like all these different brands and categories are redefined now because people are doing things like like Zooms that we had never thought about in terms of the some of the business solutions that might be needed. So all those were working. But I would say also that, Ryan, we learned some very unique things as a brand. We did a TV spot in under 2 weeks for 1/10 of the cost from our own employees doing the spot and filming themselves and sending it back and editing. And so in a situation like that, the old saying, like, don't let a crisis go to waste. We really learned a lot. And I'm hoping that some of those things stick with us, like that idea of bias toward action and moving out quick and iterating, and then balance some of the things around the idea of coming back to the office in a safe manner and collaborating more. So lots to unpack there, but for us, we really, I think at USA, we're able to give our customers, our members, over $1 billion back in dividends from their insurance premiums, because we saw driving go down, and we put in a lot of special services to help delay payments or structure payments. So we were mindful of how they were impacted. And so overall, I feel like we weathered it fairly well.
And were you just talking about kind of the safe pilot program? I think I mentioned before, where basically you guys are rolling out a number of discounts. Is that what you were referring to a minute ago?
Well, no, we gave members reimbursement on their insurance premiums, because there are literally less folks driving, and when there's less folks driving, there's less crashes and accidents. So that's a little bit different. Safe Pilot is a new product that we're rolling out. That's a behavioral-based insurance product that allows you to track kind of how you drive, and so it's really amazing. We're rolling out in 23 states. We've got the rest of the U.S. coming on a really, I think, aggressive time frame. And the whole thing about that is kind of taking control over the cost. And so in many cases, we're able to save our members 30% on their insurance premium. So we're excited about it because it rewards folks for driving safe, which as an insurance company, we always want people to drive safe. Our members are happy because they get the best rate based on how they drive. And so it's a total win-win.
I love it. Well, I mean, I can only imagine, the change in all the different from banking to automotive, all the things that happened and shifted in the last year. And I guess we'll see what happens. Actually, quick question: do you think that world opening back up, you think things kind of go back to normal? I think there's kind of a hybrid between people just drive less in general for the next few years. Have you guys looked at the next few years, and do you feel like it's going to be a very different time than it was maybe last year?
There's a lot to unpack there. Here's what I will say. We are seeing, and you may have heard about the chip shortage that's out there for vehicles. So there was initial thinking that the auto industry was going to run about 17.5, 18 million new vehicles this year. Now there's worry that it might actually be down closer to 14 to 15 million because there aren't chips and there's a huge shortage of vehicles. So obviously that prevents new vehicles from coming on the road. But in general, what we are seeing is a return to some sense of normalcy, and driving is kind of kicking back up, and with that comes more accidents. So we are seeing kind of a return to normal. And then I would say over in the banking category, when we recently had our monthly business review, and like the travel category was up like 1,500% because folks are back out and it's almost back to normal pandemic levels. So restaurants, travel, gas, because of the increased cost of gas, all those are creating new spending patterns for our members. But yes, I do believe, and especially with some of the recent news on mask mandates being lifted a little bit, there's a sense that we're coming back to normal.
Well, that is the hope for the country, and I'm excited to see what happens over the next couple of years. Shifting gears a bit, so one of my favorite topics, because I'm a huge sports fan, is the NFL, and we actually partner with the NFL and the NBA a lot of our activations. You guys for over a decade have been the NFL official military appreciation sponsor. A few things I'd love to kind of unpack here. One is you have a program called Salute to Service, and also what about sports or the NFL specifically is such a great alignment for the USAA?
Yeah, so the NFL is an amazing platform for us to reach those that have served in the military or are part of the military community. It indexes like over 100 30% in terms of likelihood to watch. Great engagement from the Department of Defense, from color guards to flyovers to just participating with the sport. And so it's been a really great platform for us to connect and reach members. And then when you, like last year, look at the top 20 viewed programs on TV, 18, I think, out of 20 were actually NFL broadcasts. So there's lots of eyeballs there. And then we put a programmatic component around Salute to Service, which is really recognizing our military community for all the sacrifices that they make. And that runs through, Veterans Day. And then we end up doing a lot of activities to bring active duty service members out to connect with NFL teams. And they really appreciate, being recognized. And there's an amazing stat that I think only 15% of NFL fans on a national basis ever get to actually go to a game. Mm-hmm. And so in person. So we try to reward service members too by, getting them out to the game. So it's been a great platform and a great way for us to reach prospects.
I'm not sure if you can answer this. I believe you're in San Antonio, Texas. Do you have a team?
Yeah.
Can you say what you are?
I'm going to say I'm a little bit of a Seahawks fan right now. So,
okay.
Yeah.
Do you think Russell's going to stick around?
Who knows? I'm hoping, because I just think him in another uniform, it's just like, but then again, this year you saw Brady in a Bucs uniform. And so it just seemed weird, but that worked out pretty well for him.
100%. Well, last thing I'll say on Russell, I'm a huge fan of him. Maybe one of the most but beyond being one of the best athletes I've ever seen, the way he carries himself. So I don't know if you guys work with him at all, but just the way he's kept himself on the field and offline. So yeah, hopefully your Seahawks have another big shot this year.
Yeah, we've got an official partnership with the Seahawks and the Bucs, so I can split my time there. But I'm hoping that he stays.
I love it. Well, from sports to esports, you guys have done a lot of stuff with the esports community. In the last few years, specifically one that's actually called CODE, which is the Call of Duty Endowment, to support veteran employment. I'd love to hear more about this. Your event in December raised over $900,000. How did you do that? That's amazing. I'd love to hear about that.
Yeah, well, it really wasn't us. It was the property. But here's what I will tell you, that our team has just done an amazing job getting into the esports space. We stuck our toe in the water first with Twitch and did some things with that as a platform. And then it's so complicated as I've learned about it. There's teams, and then there's leagues, and then there's sponsors, and then platforms. And so there's a lot of ways for brands to be involved. And it's gone really, really, I think, well for us at this early point. For us, in our membership base, we have a large number that are kind of boomers and swing. And then we have an equal amount of folks that are kind of Gen Z and millennial. And so obviously we know where this is reaching. And then there's a huge, currently serving component to this, that the services and even the service academies like West Point, Naval Academy, Air Force have their own teams. And so it's been a really unique way for us to kind of push in and find new ways. For those, marketers out there, that the media space is extremely fragmented now. And so you have to find new ways to find pockets of opportunity to reach folks. And so for us right now, esports, we're pretty bullish on it. A lot of our competitors are in the space too. And so we're learning as we go, but it's to that idea around continuing to innovate and evolve the brand as you go.
I'd love to double click on that. So I'm curious. So obviously we're in all things influencers and social, but the social platforms, there's literally 10 plus at this point across the way, from as specific as a Pinterest or a Twitch to more general like Facebook, Instagrams, and YouTubes of the world, TikToks now. From your POV as the CBO, do you guys actually take a look at it and say, hey, what is our strategy per individual platform? You look at it per audience space. How do you kind of break it down in your head?
Yeah, so we have lots and lots of products. So credit cards, auto insurance, homeowners, mortgage, you name it, all the way through retirement planning. We do the gamut. each of those obviously has a unique audience and value prop. And so we really start there. We cast a wide net at the top in terms of overall awareness. We have a lot of military members or folks that have served that don't even realize that that they're eligible for USAA membership. And part of that is kind of how the brand evolved. We started out as an officer-only brand. We were started by 25 Army officers back in 1922, actually here in San Antonio. And then we've expanded to senior non-commissioned officers and then all those that have served. And so those that maybe have served in Vietnam or Korean conflict that don't know that they're eligible because they thought maybe it was for officers only, we're trying to reach them. So all of those are segments. And then we start to look at activities of where that audience consumes. So we can be talking about auto insurance for boomers and auto insurance for Gen Z, realizing that the value props are different for each of those and the media platforms that they consume. If I was going to go social for auto for boomers, I'm probably going to be on Facebook. And then if I'm going to go for Gen Z on social, I'm going to probably be on Pinterest or Instagram. So our team, our media team, and our brand management teams do an awesome job just making sure that we're delivering the right message at the right time to the right audience on the right platform. And all of that is a very matrix thing. And each of those products has their own dedicated plan. And, there's not a one answer to each one of those unique marketing challenges.
And it has to be a perfect symphony of the audience with the right content, with the right ambassador to really kind of get across that message. 100% aligned. Out of curiosity, in the last year plus, the creator, I thought influencers for many years had kind of a 4-letter word. People didn't think highly of them. Creators have become a huge boon for small businesses. It's been a tremendous way for people to create content from home. Became production solvers for a number of big brands. So I think it's kind of every year it might be the year creator be the year is really the year of the creators. Are you guys talking about that internally, or is it all about whether it's athletes, whether it's hometown heroes? How do you guys look at the idea of content creators and your media mix?
Yeah, I would say we're still trying to find the right answer to that. We have an internal group that does nothing but advice for the military audience, and they look at all the kind of the lifelong journey that a military member might have, from entering the service to their first PCS, change of duty station, to retiring, and we try to create advice along the way. Financial services is a category where trust is super, super important. And we want to make sure that we're not in this mode of selling. We want to meet members' needs. And what's also, I think, very unique about our brand is that we're a full service provider. So whether you want to insure your car or purchase your car or get advice on, what car might be best for you, we can help you through all of that. And I think it's telling that complete story from a trusted source that is most important. But a lot of that is the idea of content, which is people are like first discovering, they're out poking around, and then they, all right, I'm interested. Then they go to the research mode, and then they want to buy, and then they want to, use and continue to engage with the brand. So we're trying to make sure we put content that completes that full cycle. It's a never-ending game, super, super competitive, as you know, and a lot of that's driving SEO and brand engagement. But we're working on it, and I think, like any brand, know that consumers or members are counting on us to deliver them, compelling, value-oriented content, and making it less about us, what we want to say, and more about what they want to discover and what they want to learn and what they want to share.
Yeah, I love how you approach the life cycle of your customers and how you get them to the point where they can see a product and apply it to their lives, and kind of pursuant to how you can speak to the people that you want to have influence or drive results from. For many years we've been focused on this, but obviously the last year it's been important with the social climate. We actually launched a program called Amplify Diverse Voices, which is all about not just equality, but equity. How do you basically put money back into the small businesses of multicultural communities? We've seen tremendous, response from the overall market. A lot of the Fortune 1000 brands, have either been multicultural led or multicultural exclusively over the last year. I'd love to hear, not just from like the creator perspective, but honestly, just as a company, how have you looked at the DEI space internally, externally? What's that meant to you?
Yeah, I think, we have a fairly unique story here. Back in July, we moved DEI out of HR and into the brand organization. And we did that for a couple reasons. I think when we did the research, I think less than 10% of brands have it structured that way. I know NASCAR has it that way. I think at one point Visa had it that way. But what's, I think, super compelling about brands to consider doing it this way is that I think sometimes when it's in the HR function, it's often viewed as HR's job to do this. And in reality, our brand organization is very used to working across, I think, the three primary stakeholders that we focus on. So that's our employees, our members, and then the communities that we operate. So we have ongoing relationships. We build programs, we communicate, and we engage with those through either internal comms or our marketing or our corporate responsibilities. So we have the functions that kind of connect and are the glue. And it's been a really exciting journey for us. I think at the crux of it is this idea of allowing every employee to reach their full potential, feel like they belong, and feel like they can be their authentic selves. I think what we learned after the death or the murder of George Floyd was really that a lot of our employees were carrying a lot of, as I use a Marine term, a bunch of rocks in their pack. There was this feeling of just exhaustion, not being understood, not being seen. And so that's been our really focus: potential that every employee wants to realize, feeling like they belong and feeling like they can be their authentic self. And we've really made a big push and announced a $50 million 3-year effort to really close the gap in 3 specific areas. 1, education, 2, jobs and income, and 3, wealth. We believe that we can make a difference. We've provided some really amazing nonprofits with funding to assist in closing the gaps among women, communities of color. And I think we're all in. We've got a really amazing dashboard that gives us the accountability. And what's also unique, Ryan, is that about 43% of the military community is that of color, and about 18% are women. And so we have a real opportunity to connect this back to our mission. And our mission at USAA is to ensure the financial security of the military community. So it really lines up well. We're working hard, and we do want this to be a journey for all of our employees. I think one of the things that's happened along this is that some folks feel like, hey, what does this all mean? This is a lot to take in. And I've been trying to stress in conversations that I've had with my teammates at USAA that this is not about, divvying up the pie or, giving somebody your slice. It's about the pie growing larger, and the fact that one of your teammates is going to feel more included, feel like they have the potential. And we all know that there's a real talent for a war for talent right now. And so we want to be able to bring the best and most capable employees to USAA to help us accomplish our mission. And when we have a solid reputation around winning an award or being recognized in the community, then we feel like we've got a better chance to bring that talent to our brand.
I love that. No, it's sage advice. I obviously salute you for being so innovative and obviously taking a spot at the head of the pack here. I guess kind of pursuant to that, I mean, this is more for you, obviously, just, you've been through everything from military to a number of CMO and CBO jobs. Is there any advice, whether it's military or not, that you've basically been given in the course of your journey that you have to share with the audience today?
Yeah, great question. I would tell everybody, there's a great book from Clayton Christian called "How Will You Measure Your Life?" You know, I think very often in the corporate world, we're like hamsters, you know, chasing something. We don't really know where we're headed, and it really, for me, helped me kind of get a little bit of focus. And actually, our CEO gave me the book, and I don't know if he was trying to tell me something or not, but it was a really good read, and I would encourage folks. He's a Harvard Business School professor who took, I guess, 20 years of his learning of his students and said, hey, I've seen some students be really bright and never make it. I've seen those that fell off the ethical rails. And so he gives kind of his take on, you know, how to be successful in life. I also think I'm a big believer in, you know, taking that stretch assignment, making yourself feel a little uncomfortable. It's kind of like that old, you know, as an athlete, yeah, I played college basketball about 35 pounds ago. And, you know, when muscle breaks down, it hurts. Like you know, you want to continue to grow and keep yourself a challenge. And then lastly, I would say is, you know, get your own corporate board of directors, your own board of directors. Like go find 4 or 5 people who know you, some that maybe personally connected, some maybe in the business world, who you can turn to when you have those important life decisions and need advice and check. And I have a personal board of directors, and they've been super instrumental in helping me at key points like, what do I want to do? Do I want to make this move? Does this seem like the right career opportunity? Counsel me a little bit. Is this how I should be looking at this issue? And it's just, it's served me well, and would encourage folks to do the same.
Well, you seem very obviously fulfilled in your life professionally and personally, but I'd love to know, because obviously for the last year we've had this, you know, overhang from the pandemic, and knock on wood, it all goes, you know, away. Is there one thing that you're looking forward to, either one professionally or personally, that's going to happen in the next few months? You know, hopefully when the world opens back up.
Yeah, so let's knock on some wood there, Ryan. You know, more than anything, I'm looking forward to travel. I have a son who actually works for an ad agency, and he lives in Togo, which is on the western coast of Africa. And it's been 2 years since I've seen him. He lives there with his family. And so I'm really looking forward to going back and having the chance to spend some time with him and grandkids. And so travel is the thing that I would put on my, like, hey, I'm really ready to do that. And a lot of pin-up demand, I'm sure, from others too, that want to get out and travel. I actually traveled last weekend to San Diego, and man, the flight was packed and the ticket was $800. And so I think people are in fact returning to travel.
I personally, I just moved to Miami Beach from Los Angeles, so I think, yeah, and the plane was packed. So I think people are hopefully again going back to some level of normalcy. And yeah, I mean, I wish that for you, obviously, as a grandfather. That's amazing. Are you in community? Do you do the Zooms? Do you do the TikToks? How do you stay in contact with the family?
Mainly FaceTime and then WhatsApp. So you know, it's amazing how that technology now is, like, you know, you can stay, especially with kids, stay in close contact with them because they can see you on the video. It's hard to keep their attention, you know, a 4-year-old's attention more than 5 minutes, but at least it's keeping me or the picture, the memory of me in their mind. So yeah, it's worked out well.
Well, Tony, you know, it's been a highlight. We would do this once a month with a number of the big CMOs and CBOs, and you know, everything you've said here, it resonates tremendously well with how we believe the world. And I really appreciate you taking time. I know you're a very busy man, so I'll give you a few minutes back, and I'm sure you have 1,000,001 things to answer. But thank you so much for making time, and hopefully looking forward to seeing you in person someday.
All right, I appreciate it, Ryan. Thanks for having me today, and hello to the whole audience, and hopefully they got something out of value for that. So thank you.
Thanks
so much, Tony.
Definitely.
All right. Well, we are finished. We have made it through another amazing day here with Influential and Brand Innovators. We'll be back at it again on June 16th for another edition of Influential's Livecast, Marketing Sessions with Brand Innovators. So we hope that you can join us then. We also hope that you can join us actually join Brand Innovators tomorrow for the Multicultural Marketing Summit at noon Eastern Time. They'll be joined by marketing leaders from Walmart, Burrell Communications, Planet Fitness, and many more. Thank you so much for joining. Bye for now.